Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on martial politics. Today I'll be discussing Biden's new infrastructure bill that came out a few days ago. And I've seen some people talk about it, and their attacks they're from the position from fiscal conservatism, Reagan economics, that position is absolutely terrible, and they're basically arguing that it's gonna hurt our deficit and cost too much money. Now, I will. This video will be about his infrastructure bill and how it doesn't even come close. It doesn't even come close to going, all the way to even getting our infrastructure to an adequate level, let alone uh, you know, like a we have infrastructure at a state where it's actually like other first world countries. I mean, we have such poor and aging infrastructure that it is absolutely abysmal. But yeah, I'll just show his plan here real quick. It's not that long. So basically, transportation infrastructure 621 billion. That's most of the money in the bill. Basically, just money for all these different projects. Quality of life, so that's like affordable housing, caregivers. That's not necessarily like infrastructure, but this is so funny, just especially women of color. I love how they kind of they can't, even when they talk about economics, it's like they can't find a single opportunity where they can't even they just can't resist it. They have to have identity politics and everything. But anyways, so it's just money for caregivers or whatever. Research, development, and manufacturing. That's basically just like bunch of different things about, like, I think there's something with technology addressing the climate crisis. It's funny. Support clean energy a lot of climate stuff. Research and development at historically black colleges. That's funny. Colleges and universities, $10 billion. Oh god, that's so funny. Domestic manufacturing, basically just like climate stuff mostly. And then they get towards the end here where they talk about the corporate tax rate, and the city's gonna raise it up to 28%, which is actually lower than it was under Obama, by the way. It's actually lower. I think it was 35% or so under or Obama, maybe somewhere in the like mid to low 30s. But like the thing is that the corporate tax rate, like, it's not, the thing is, the tax code is so rigged in favor of the wealthy, is that, like, are you even going to be able to get that much money anyways? Like, it's whatever. But it's so funny. Let's see. Under tax hikes and other reforms, eliminate tax loopholes. Oh, really? That's interesting. Denying companies deductions for offshoring jobs, for example. That's funny. And like, I've heard the argument made. It's so ironic. That the corporate, like, if you have a higher corporate tax rate, then it will incentivize outsourcing, which is so funny, because there was actually more outsourcing in Trump's first term than there was under Obama, which is pretty funny and ironic for like all the people who just can't get enough of defending Trump. But yeah, that's basically his plan. But what I'm gonna discuss is how really this doesn't even come close to even fulfilling adequate infrastructure levels. So there's a study that basically comes out every 4 years for America's infrastructure, and this year it scored a C minus. So it says there is a water main break every 2 minutes, and there's an estimated 6 billion gallons of treated water lost each day in the United States, and that's enough to fill over 9,000 swimming pools. growing wear and tear on our nation's roads. They have left 43% of our public roadways in poor or mediocre condition, a number that has remained stagnant over the past several years. There are 30,000 miles of inventoried levees across the U.S., and an additional 10,000 miles of levees whose location and condition are unknown. So this is pretty abysmal, and they have like for each state as well. But it's just absolutely abysmal. So the main thing I'm going to be discussing here, this is an older article, but it's still relevant. So right here it says here, America's infrastructure is desperately in need of investment. According to the American Society of Civil Engineers, the ASCE estimates the U.S. needs to spend some $4.5 trillion by 2025. So this was 2019, so that's a 6-year period to fix the country's roads, bridges, dams, and other infrastructure. Trump was gonna have. He had an infrastructure plan in 2017 that was only $1 trillion, even less than Biden's. So there's been so much failure on this front, and honestly, I don't expect the bill to even be the Biden's pushing to even be that effective, like pretty much at all. I don't really see it changing much. But the thing is that I'm gonna get into is that, again, $2 trillion. I mean, not even all the money in the bill is like solely devoted to infrastructure, anyways. So I mean, you don't even have, and I can't even imagine what it was on Trump's side. I'd have to do more research on that. But you need over $4.6 trillion over a 6 period just to get it to an adequate level. Just an adequate level. Now, what you'll have is like of course, the fiscal con argument. But what about the debt? What about our deficit? What about... Don't listen to these people. They give the idiotic fiscal conservative argument about saving money or whatever. It's an absolute joke. Anyways, Bernie Sanders, he actually, I might have been in 2000. I think it was the same thing in 2020 as well. But he had an infrastructure bill that would basically, I think it was $16 trillion or so, which would basically, like the projections I saw, and like there was like several, I think, articles I've read about it. I should have done the article. I'll bring it up. So basically, Bernie Sanders is his $16 trillion infrastructure plan. They call it climate plan, since like the intent of it is like the Green New Deal or whatever. But there's actually a lot of good infrastructure stuff in there. The problem is like there's so many idiotic things in that bill. It's just like that. It's not the bill I prefer, but it is definitely a step in the right direction. But you've had several attacks made against the bill. Idiotic attacks, I'd say. Fox Business, U.S. Chamber of Commerce says Biden infrastructure bill is dangerously misguided, and it's like some terrible video from Larry Kudlow. He's absolute terrible corporate ghoul. But yeah, basically it's the same idiotic like they got completely erased on Twitter, it seems like. Yeah, basically the US Chamber of Commerce, it's an absolutely terrible organization. Yeah, they got completely erased on Twitter. Yeah. It's it's really absolutely ridiculous. And like the thing is excuse me. The thing is, like, here they like pretend to be like care about like working people or whatever, but the US Chamber of Commerce, it's absolutely terrible organization. I don't know who unironically supports them, but they're an absolute complete terrible organization. But again, this ties into my larger point about the terrible criticism that is being, well, there's like, I'm talking about like certain criticism, obviously, because like you have other things in the bill, like the mileage tax, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen such an idiotic proposal from administration before. It's just like a mileage tax. Um, but yeah, the criticism I'm talking about specifically is the criticism that is being made that like in principle the money being spent is like it's expansion of government power or whatever, and that it's the same garbage fiscal conservative argument that is made to discourage people from conservatives from wanting to use the power of the government to basically, make the country a better place. Because, like, are we going to make the country a better place by doing corporate tax cuts and limited government? How on earth, in any context, does that make the country a better place? We've already seen this formula tried again and again, and it failed. Now, we have to do, direct actual attempts, to increase workers' wages, lessen legal and illegal immigration, modernize our infrastructure, make the lives of our citizens better. Not serving the interests of, corporations or special interests, but, the interest of the people. What do the people want? And so much polling on there's some terrible opinions on issues like marijuana, for example, but a large majority of Americans support ending foreign wars, infrastructure spending, raising taxes on the rich, like issue after issue. This is what most of the American population wants. Of course, there's some, again, as I said, marijuana, which people want legalized because they fall for because people are so accustomed to everything should be free or whatever, and they don't really evaluate the situation properly, and what are the effects of this, and yeah. But the point is that this is an issue where, again, it exposes the Republican establishment. It doesn't it. Again, it will help the new right argument by encouraging actual, economic change rather than supporting the economic status quo, which only benefits a certain segment of the population. And it's actually, I've seen this a lot recently. People are actually moving more towards, the populist position on, economics. And, they've had enough of this. We've seen repeated failures under previous administrations, and we need actual change. And I think day by day, more and more people are realizing this. Our country, it's not going well right now. I mean, as I said earlier in the video, our infrastructure has a grade of C minus. I mean, I think previously it was a D plus, so it's like a slight improvement. But it's absolutely unacceptable when we live in supposedly the most powerful country in the world. We could spend trillions of dollars on foreign wars, like in the Middle East, but we can't even spend money to help our own citizens get health care or improve infrastructure. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And again, we need to seriously reform the American political system. We've seen so many failures from our ruling class repeatedly, and I'm hoping, that eventually, I think that eventually, things will get bad enough. We're gonna have a radical populace that'll be elected from either Republican or Democratic parties, and we're gonna see if things continue the way they are, then we're gonna see some radical people being elected in the next 20 years or so. I mean, things are not getting better, and the political establishment, the Republican Democratic parties, they don't care. They just care about fulfilling their interests of their donors, special interests, people in Washington who have they have immense power over these people, and they drive them towards positions that don't serve the interests of the American people. So what populism really is serving the interests of the American people and making society a much better and functioning place. And again, that's my final point. I want to, I want to make the country a better place where, the average people can succeed, and, where our meritocracy is actually, oh, that's, that was weird. Where our, basically where, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Where our society can actually, be, oh yeah, so our basically regular people in society can succeed, and not only, people in the higher echelons of society can succeed. Um, that's what I want to happen in the United States. And again, every step of the way, we should oppose people who oppose our mission for a greater United States. And again, change our political structure. Elect people to office who will actually reduce actual change, and again, make society a better place for all decent and average people in America. I will end this video here. I hope you all enjoyed. I kind of went off more towards the end because like, again, this one issue of Biden's infrastructure bill, it ties in with a whole other uh, argument that I always like to make, about inducing actual change in American society, and how this really, again, it exposes the incompetence from these idiots in Washington D.C. We don't care for the interests of the American people. I will end this video here. Hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, or anything you want to add, maybe I might have forgotten something. I think there was like some talk of like reparations or something. I'm not entirely sure about that. I think it was like some idiotic thing I saw from AOC or whatever. But yeah, I will end the video here. Of course, like and subscribe for more. Share the video with people so this message can get out and people can actually change their minds about issues like this. And I hope you all have an excellent day. And I'll see you all in the next video. Farewell, everyone.